everybody. Merry Christmas and happy holidays. Welcome to Sparkles, 12 days leading up to Christmas. I actually dressed up for the event. I am in Sparkles, so I am actually my name today. So I'm really excited cooking with you guys, and we are going to make something that is super classic in Italy around Christmas, and it is tortellini in Brodo. So I'm going to get started. We are going to make our broth first because it takes the longest to cook. So right here I have a chicken carcass. So I broke down a chicken, I took the breasts, the thighs, the drumsticks, I put them away for another dinner, and I have the wings and the carcass. So I have a pot of water here. So I'm going to add, it's cold water because we're gonna cook this for about 3 hours. I'm gonna add the carcass, the wings, and then I'm going to add some aromatics. So we have celery and carrots. I'm gonna add the onions with the skin. That actually creates a really deep color and flavor to it. Then here is my secret to this entire broth, is Parmigiano Reggiano. So Parmigiano Reggiano, to know that it's truly Parmigiano Reggiano, you wanna look for these little dots, and you wanna make sure that this was actually made in Italy. It has to be aged for 12 months to actually be real Parmigiano Reggiano. So what I'm gonna do is I'm going to put this in cheesecloth with about a tablespoon of black peppercorns and some fresh thyme sprigs. And I'm gonna close it up. It's gonna be just like this perfect little pocket. And I'm going to tie it with some twine. So it's like a little present for the broth. So we're gonna tie this up. Okay, nice and tight. And this just makes straining the stock a lot easier. And everyone's always wondering what to do with those leftover Parmigiano Reggiano rinds. Here's a perfect solution. It's gonna add a nice saltiness and nuttiness to your broth. So into the water it goes. We are gonna turn this onto about medium high. We wanna bring it up to a boil and then lower it down to a simmer. I'm going to cover it up. We are going to move on to our tortellini. So, tortellini, we have a food processor because this is gonna make kind of the perfect texture. If you've ever seen Italian grandmothers or watched a YouTube video on how they make tortellini in Brodo, it is quite a process. They move so fast. I hope to one day get as good as them. But this is kind of the filling, the classic filling from Emilia Romano. We have mortadella that is going to go in. This has pistachios in it. This is about a 1/4 pound. Prosciutto di Parma, 1/4 pound. We have ground pork. This is a 1/4 pound. And 2 eggs. So about a 1/2 cup of freshly grated Parmigiano Reggiano. Now we're gonna season this. We're gonna take a little bit of fresh nutmeg and we are going to grate a little bit. This is a really classic thing in Italy. Then we are going to take a little bit of kosher salt. Now remember, the prosciutto, the mortadella is salty, the Parmigiano is salty, so we wanna go easy on the salt. Freshly ground black pepper. Perfect. Now my lid. And we are going to turn it on. I like to get a few pulses. I want it to still have a little bit of texture. And now I'm just gonna put the filling right into my bowl. Okay guys, now it is time to make the tortellini. I made my pasta dough. Check it out. We have a lot of little 1-inch squares here. Very tiny. I have them in a damp towel because I want to keep them as pliable as possible. A general rule is 100 grams of flour to 1 egg. So that'll give you a really nice firm egg dough, pasta dough, which will allow you to do a lasagna, any sort of hand-shaped pastas like this, stuffed pastas, it's perfect. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna lay out some of these, and the ones you're not working with directly, just put them underneath that damp towel. Okay guys, so we are making our tortellini. Check them out. They don't have to be this tiny. I just think these are really adorable. But reality is that it's going to take me probably the amount of time it's going to take the stock. So you're gonna take a little, actually using a knife really helpful, a little smear of our filling. We're gonna fold it over to a triangle like this, all our ends together. And these are 1-inch squares. Then I'm gonna use my pinky, my smallest finger, to squeeze that together, just like so. And we have a little baby tortellini. So we're gonna keep doing it. Here we go. Just take a little bit of our filling, like so. Fold it over like a triangle and meet the ends together. And you can do these way ahead of time, way ahead of Christmas or any holiday you're cooking these for. You can do these and put them right in the freezer, and they will last probably a few months in the freezer. I'm gonna get in kind of a little quick elf mode to make all these tortellini. And before I know it, the broth will be done and we will be eating some delicious tortellini and brodo. Okay guys, we are back. It's been about 2.5, 3 hours. Our stock looks beautiful. It's been simmering away, cooking down. What I'm gonna do actually is I just wanna taste this for you guys. So what I'm gonna do is I'm actually going to put this into a small little saucepan, and we're gonna cook a little bit of our tortellini. As you can see, if you've watched this far, you have seen all of the tortellini. It took me about almost 2 hours to make them by hand. Check out how beautiful they have come out. They look really cute. They're very tiny. You don't have to make yours this tiny, but this is pretty classic. So I kept them really tiny. I'm going to keep a wet, damp paper towel over them. And right now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna bring my pot over here, and I'm just gonna strain my stock right into my hot pot. So I'm just gonna do enough to cook my tortellini in this delicious stock. And I'm going to actually season the stock as well. I haven't seasoned it yet. So we're gonna season it with a little bit of salt. But again, I had that Parmigiano Reggiano rind in here, so it should have a nice kind of nuttiness and saltiness. So here we are. That's a fun way to strain it. You can see how beautiful this stock looks. So I'm gonna season it with a little bit of kosher salt. And this is nice because I haven't added any salt to this yet. So this isn't the first time I'm adding salt, and it's not a big amount right now, so I don't want to do too much. I'm gonna lower it down a little bit to a simmer because I want to make sure I'm not giving the tortellini a crazy boiling bath to go into it, just kind of like a light simmer. So I'm gonna take about, it's only me and cameraman, so we're just gonna have a taste of this. We have to save it for Christmas. But I'm gonna take about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tortellini. That's all we're getting because I have to save the rest. And they're gonna drop right into our simmering stock. Boop. And now they're gonna cook for about 2 minutes. Our tortellini are floating in our beautiful stock, as you guys can see. And now it's time to taste them. So I'm going to just plate them up. I like to do a nice low bowl. And I'm going to show you guys how you finish the tortellini in Brodo. Obviously, you would normally have way more in here. But again, this is just a little taste. I'm gonna actually turn this off, and I'm going to pour the rest of this stock over. Yes. So you should see tons of tortellini floating on top of this, but we only have a few because we're trying to save them for Christmas. And now we're gonna take our Parmigiano Reggiano grater, and we are going to grate some freshly grated cheese on top. That looks perfect. It's gonna melt into the broth. It's gonna be delicious. Now I get to take a bite of this boiling hot tortellini. We're gonna take a second. Here we go. Wow. The broth is perfect. I get so much flavor from the mortadella and the prosciutto. It's just like this little chewy pasta bite. The dough is perfect as well. I hope you guys make this for your holidays. It's so delicious. Thank you so much for joining me on my first day out of 12 days until Christmas. I'll see you guys tomorrow.